Hello everyone, this is Chazlyn from the Upper Skagit Library, and this is a sort of late Tech Tip Tuesday, but it's worth it because it's a really exciting one for us. So, do you remember when we did last time the Tech Tip Tuesday? That was with the Wi-Fi hotspots. This time we have something just as exciting, and we have tablets for checkout. So, these are the Apple tablets. They're the iPads. This is an Air 2, which is the second iteration of the Air model, which is kind of a sleeker, kind of slimmed down iPad version. So they have like iPad Pros and regular iPads, and the Air is kind of a iPad Lite sort of thing. It's still got a lot of great functionality. It's a lot of fun to use, and for patrons who maybe don't have laptops or anything, it's a great kind of substitute for that. So when you get your tablet from the library, when you check it out on your account, it's going to come in a plastic Ziploc baggie, or not Ziploc, it's kind of an off-brand, with a little slider on the top. And inside, actually on the front of the bag, it's going to have the name of the particular, so there's 4 of these total. So Air IP1 is the iPad number 1 that we have, and it's going to tell you what's included in the bag. So that way when you bring it back to us, you kind of have a list to refer to of what should be coming back. So the first thing that's going to happen when you pull out the bag is you're going to have a sheet of instructions. And this basically explains what the iPads are, how to use them. It does tell you the checkout period. So the iPads you can have for 2 weeks at a time, and there are no renewals. We're going to be very firm on that. Please don't break it and don't lose it, because that's a fine, and it's not going to be a small one. It's just the nature of the kind of tech, so it's expensive. And if we have to replace it, it's still expensive. So please don't. Be very gentle with them. The other thing it's got the directions here on how to turn them on, how to use them, and connect to internet networks. If you've checked out, if you've been able to kind of plan ahead and check out a Wi-Fi hotspot and a tablet at the same time, they will work together so that you've got a complete system going on. And then at the very bottom, we don't exactly have a lot of troubleshooting info on the sheet, but we do have our email address and our phone number, and that's going to be the best way if you have questions or you need a little bit of extra help. That's going to be the best way to kind of solve any troubles that you may be having. So also in the kit is a lightning cable, which is the proprietary standard that Apple uses for their cables. It is different than, say, a USB-C, yes, USB-C connection that, say, a Samsung or other mobile phones or devices would use. This is Apple's way of being different, I guess, being quirky, kind of fun. But so the connection on a lightning cable, it can go both ways. So, sometimes with previous charging cables on previous devices, you have to find the right direction. It matters which way it's oriented. With a lightning cable, it's the same front and back, so it doesn't matter. It's supposed to charge pretty fast on compatible devices. So this is the lightning port, and then on the other end of it is a USB connector. And then if, so this USB can plug into anything USB compatible. So say that you have a computer or a laptop or whatever, you can plug this into one of those and charge to the iPad. If you do that, one of the things that it might ask for is, it might ask for your computer to have permission to access the information on the iPad. I would recommend not allowing that, just because it makes things a little bit messy and confusing. So if it says, allow this iPad to switch data to the computer, just say no thank you. No thank you. If you aren't using one of those, one of the other options is this wall adapter. And so what you do is you take the USB end of this charging cable, insert it into the wall adapter. This one is not both ways, so you need to be able to orient it properly. And then this just plugs right into your wall. your port. I can't think of the name of those things. They've been around forever. Still don't know the name. We're going with it. But yeah. So then this would go into your wall, and then this end would go into the iPad, and you could charge it. You can charge the iPad while you are using it. You would have to, since the cable is pretty short, you would have to sit very close to your wall charging device. I know English, trust me, I know. So we got the instructions, we've got the charging cable and the wall adapter, and then the piece de resistance is the actual iPad itself. So the iPads come in these green cases, and sometimes the fingerprint smudges are included, sometimes not. It's you know, a wild guess. These cases are kind of made of like a foamy kind of material. I don't know what to call this material, but please leave the iPads in the cases. Please don't remove them. If you are charging the iPad, so what you're going to do is find the orientation of it. So the camera's at the top. You're probably not going to use the camera, but just in case. Camera's at the top, and so at the opposite end of the camera, you open this little tab here, and that's where the lightning cable is connected. So just like this. And then that goes into a computer or a wall, and you're good to go to charge. If you don't know, with any electronics, sometimes people don't know this or they forget. When you're plugging and unplugging these kind of devices, it's often tempting to just kind of grab it right here and yank and pull it out. Probably don't do that. Recommended don't do that. Grip it by the base right here and then pull out gently. It just keeps the cables, you know, in better condition for a longer amount of time. I've noticed especially the Apple cables, they tend to kind of fall apart, especially if you're doing that whole yanking method. So anyway, when you're not charging, this little tab will cover up the port, just so. And for your convenience, the case has a little handle, which is fun if you're like walking around, you want to have it like a suitcase. I don't know, feel kind of fancy, kind of, you know, suitcasey. The other thing that this case does is if you take this handle here and you bend it back, then you place it on a, you can't really see with the camera there, but like if my keyboard stuff wasn't here, this can double as a stand. And so the, you know, if you're you know, using it with a table or whatever, you don't want to hold it as you're watching something, like sometimes you're watching Netflix or whatever, and hands-free. Nothing much to say about that. Okay, so on the back of the case we have the barcode. You don't need to do anything, that's just staff. We also have, again, the identifier for the particular iPads. This is the Air IP1, Apple iPad Air 2, and then it's also got our fancy logo, but it also has the address for the library and the P.O. box in case this gets lost and it can get returned to us, which is awesome. So, enough about that. Here's the part that you really care about, which is using the iPad. So at the very top here, so we see, remember that camera that we've got? Above that camera is a button. Let's see if I could show it to you. So this button right here. So what you do is you press and hold that button. And so the Apple logo is going to show up, and it's going to take a couple of seconds. Apple iPads are a little bit slow to boot sometimes. And so we're just going to wait here.
10 seconds later.
Do 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 do. And we're waiting. And we're waiting. Okay, there we go. So enter passcode. This is going to be provided on the instruction sheet. And let's see. So that's step 3 here. Let's see if I can get step 3. So there's a password there, and you're going to enter the password. Oops, come back. Okay, so if that happens, so we're back in, this is a lock screen. This is called a lock screen. And so basically the iPad will time out if you've not used it for a little bit. It's kind of a security feature. So what you do is, this is the home button. It's kind of hard to see here. This circular button here is called the home button. Newer iPads do not have this. Older iPhones had it as well, but it's no longer a feature used. But since these are older iPads, it still exists. So you tap this button, it wakes the screen up. Tap it again, and it comes up with the number pad. So we're going to enter the password, and it's going to open up the iPad. So let's see. Okay, one of the cool things about iPads is that the orientation will change depending on how you're holding it. So that's a fun little thing. Let's see. So the bottom here, this area, this is called the dock. And with iPads, you get a choice, usually, on whether you pick apps that stay consistent down here in your dock, and so they're it's like a quick access kind of feature. With the way that we've set up the iPads, though, this is sort of a most recently used kind of section. So the apps that have been used the most recently will show up here, and it will change. So don't panic if it looks different ever so often. It's remembering what you've been doing. Let's see. Tips for using the iPad. The iPads are internet connected, or they could be offline. That's up to you. The thing we recommend is, if you are using the iPads to log into something, so say your Facebook page or something like that, make sure that you log out before you bring the iPads back to us. The staff will go through the iPads when they're checked back in and kind of try to wipe as much data as possible, to make sure that when it goes out to the next patron, there's nothing left. And it's absolutely going to be a part of the process that will happen each time, but it is good internet practice if you are ever using a public computer or a public, mobile device. Log out every time. Sometimes apps and websites like Facebook will ask you if you want to, say, leave, parts of your information there so you can log back in quicker. Tell it no, remove it. Facebook especially is kind of notorious for that kind of thing. So if you log into a Facebook page and then you click out of it and you exit out and you log out, and then you come back and it still has your name and your face, and you have to type in your password again, but it still has that saved, there is a way to remove that kind of stuff. So just be diligent about making sure that if you're logging into something, log out of it. It's depending on what internet you're using. If you're using a home internet or if you're using one of our Wi-Fi hotspots, just be careful about what you're logging into. It's a good practice when you're on either a public Wi-Fi or a library Wi-Fi. Just be cautious. It's secure enough for most things, but vigilance. Mad Eye Moody and Harry Potter, constant vigilance, that sort of thing. Okay, so going back to kind of setting up the iPad. So you're into the screen and you've got everything there. What you're going to need to do is ignore the telephone. And let's see, there's multiple ways to do this next step. This is going to be the easiest way to do it. So on the top right of the screen, and it works either way, so whether you're in this orientation or this orientation, you're still going to do the same thing. You are going to take your finger and slide down. So you see how it's brought down this kind of control menu? So you're looking for the Wi-Fi symbol, and that's this guy here. Let's see if I could find, that boy. And he should be blue. If he's gray, you've got a problem. You've turned Wi-Fi capability off, is what happens when it's gray. So this means that Wi-Fi capability is on. And so what you're going to do is you're going to press and hold it, and it expands like this. See? So you've got airplane mode, AirDrop, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, that kind of fun stuff. We're ignoring everything else because you're probably not going to use those. That's more advanced stuff. If you want to use those, then you could call us and kind of have us walk you through it if you like. We're mostly concerned with this Wi-Fi. So click and hold it again. And so do you see where it has a bunch of different connections, a bunch of different networks? So this iPad is already familiar with our regular library connection. But we could switch down here to our other one, which is our 5 gigahertz one. And sometimes, depending on the connection, you're going to have to add a password. So if you're using one of our Wi-Fi hotspots, you're going to enter the Wi-Fi hotspot password into there. If you're on your home internet, then possibly the same thing. It really just depends on the way the internet is set up that you're going to be using. So that's how you connect to the internet. Let's see. Okay, so that's it for the instructions. So what we've done in terms of organizing the apps is that we've put everything into folders and categories. So this first one here is staff only, and there's apps in there that we can't delete them from the iPad, but they're not useful to anyone. So we just kind of put them in a folder that says, don't mess with this. Like things like Find My iPad. If you've lost the iPad, you've got bigger troubles than trying to use the Find My iPad button. Don't save photos to the iPad. There's no point. You're not going to be able to keep them. You're not going to enable text messaging, the shortcuts you don't need. Try not to mess with the settings. There's just really no point to it. We've locked down a lot of stuff on the iPads, but it's just there's no reason to be messing with the settings, really. So, yeah. Let's see, utilities. So we have a clock app, and that does fun things like show you a world clock. You can set alarms. You could have a stopwatch, a timer, all that kind of stuff. There's also a Maps app. So this is the Apple Maps. It's very similar to Google Maps. It does the same thing, but it's got like different voices, and it's organized a little bit differently. That's pretty good. Google Earth is fun. I love this app. So Google Earth is it's also kind of a map thing, but you got like satellite views, and you could do street view and stuff like that. So if I wanted to search concrete Washington. So it zooms out, it's reorienting. Oops, hard to see. We're going to concrete, we're zooming in. Look at our little town. Look at how cute it is. And so you can zoom in. Let's see if we could find the library. Zoom in, zoom in. Let's see, go down. Oh, we're getting closer. There's our parking lot. And there's our building. There we are. So that's fun. And you could go, Google Earth, it's the Earth, so find anything around the Earth. It tells you latitude and longitude. There's a whole bunch of different fun features. Definitely explore that on your own. Let's see. Oh, okay, this is a cool thing to know. Okay. Excuse me. So, the home button, double tap it, and look at all this. Look at all this stuff that's open on the iPad. Well, what that's doing is that's draining your battery really fast because these are running in the background. So, swipe, closed, swipe, closed, swipe, closed, 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 closed. Now your battery won't drain as fast. Magic! Okay, so say you want to do basic internet stuff. Let's see. Firefox, Safari, Google Chrome. Pull one up. Each of them have their pros and cons. Let's see. That one actually remembered the last search. So we go to Google and we say new book releases. And there we go. It's just like using the internet on your desktop computer or laptop. So double click that button, close it. So we have 3 different internet browsers. We have a folder here called Library e-Resources. In it is Flipster, which is magazines, Libby, which is e-audiobooks and ebooks, and Canopy, which is films. If you open them up, they function just as normally. So you log in and use your library resources. We have another folder for kids. We've got PBS Kids Games, Merlin Bird ID, and a Lego app.
10 seconds later.
Okay. We also have a folder for learning to code. And in there's a cool little app called Rover Coder, and it's kind of like a NASA thing. And the Mars rover, it's kind of like a simulation of moving the Mars rover, only you're using coding techniques to get it moving, which is cool. This app, it's called Playgrounds, but it's called Swift Playgrounds, and it's also a really cool way to learn how to code. It's got a little monster guy that the kids learn how to move and pick up things. And it's just really cute, but it's even though they're geared towards kids, I'm having fun learning how to code using them too. So they're really for everyone. It really breaks it down really easy. So if you or anyone are even remotely curious about coding, these apps are super cool. I've got a couple apps in here for American Sign Language. So ASL Basics is a fingerspelling app where it shows you the alphabet and the numbers, and there's a little test in there, so it shows you a random letter or a number, and then you have to guess what it translates to in English, which is super cool. Science School is ASL Dictionary. You could pick a sign of the day. Don't sign up for the email. So tap to start. And so this sign is inspire. And so you just get a random sign every time you push it. And then if you go back, there's a dictionary. So if you're looking for a particular sign, you can go through categories and words. And then you could search by topic as well. So it's a really kind of in-depth, you can get vocabulary. It's not going to teach you full sign language because it's not going to show you grammar or anything else like that. But if you're looking for a specific word, it's really good for that. We also have some other miscellaneous apps. So Acrobat with this A, this is an Adobe product, Adobe Acrobat. It reads PDF file types. A lot of things come in PDF file types. So like if you get the digital version of the Concrete Herald, you could read through it through Adobe Acrobat. A lot of, like, if you go to a website and they have like handouts that are like printable, those will be in PDF. Things like that. We also have Google Docs downloaded that you can use to access some of your Google files that you've stored in the Google Cloud, like Microsoft Word equivalent kind of stuff. So like text files and images and other documents. It's basically a cloud storage app. We have Zoom, so if you're wanting to attend any of, like, say, Photography Club this Saturday, this Saturday the 19th, we're having Photography Club, and that's through Zoom.
10 seconds later.
So Photography Club is through Zoom, and basically you log in, and then I log in, and then we talk to each other, and it's awesome, and we talk about photos. The other thing that you could do with Zoom is the monthly Board of Trustees meetings. So if you plan in advance to get one of the iPads to have during the time the board meeting happens, you just click in and you can push this join a meeting button and you can enter the ID for the meeting and then it'll move you to a password. Or you could use one of the internet browsers to go to our website, and then we have that post every month with the link to the meeting, the direct link. And if you click that direct link, it'll just open up the Zoom app automatically, and it'll take you straight to the meeting. But that's a really good way to either watch the BOT meetings or participate, because there is a public comment section. And one of the things I do want to stress is that if you are in a Zoom meeting, you don't have to have your camera on. You can, be a blank, just a name, basically. And you don't have to have your audio on. You can choose to do that. We love seeing your faces, and we love being able to hear from everyone. But it's not a requirement, basically. And so let's see, other than Zoom, the last one we've got here is YouTube, which is the best way to watch all the videos that I make for Tech Tip Tuesday and all of our other programming, basically. We love YouTube. We're having so much fun with it this year. And so that's a good way to just watch all of our stuff. I don't think we have the capability, because we'd have to log into an account to have the capability to like bookmark or star the library's account, but just search Upper Skagit Library in the search bar when you open the app and you'll be able to find it easy. And that's it. There's really not that much to it. There's a couple of things, so like notifications. You shouldn't have any notifications, but if you pull down from the top, that's where notifications display. If you pull down from the left, there's like a little weather app, and it tells you how much battery there is left. Probably not stuff you'll use on these iPads. If you have your own personal iPads or iPhones, then that kind of becomes more relevant. But yeah, okay, and the final step is when you're done using it, come back to this power button here, press and hold, and then there's going to be a slide to power off. Whoop. And that's it. That's how easy it is to turn them off. So that's the iPads. They are not quite available yet. We have to go through one more approval process and make sure that everything is working the way we want it to. But they're coming really, really soon. Like, I would bet before the end of the year. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to go into our catalog and just search iPad or tablets. I'll let you know what the final search is going to be, but it'll be in the catalog, and then you could place a hold on it just like with books and movies. Or you can give us a call and say, hey, reserve me an iPad, or just send us an email and do the same thing. Any of those 3 ways is perfectly fine. So again, these are available for 2 weeks, no renewals. And that's per month. So you could have it for 2 weeks in 1 month, bring it back, and then wait until the next month, and you get it for another 2 weeks. And that's it. That's all it is. It's awesome, right? We're really excited to get these into your guys' hands, and we hope they're really helpful and that they help you interact with us more in our programming and to be able to do the things that you need to do that are online. We're hoping that it helps the kids with school, you know, all this good stuff that we need to do in kind of this really, really virtual world. Yeah, that's all. That's it, all we got to say. So thanks for joining us for this Tech Tip Tuesday. We hope that you're going to be able to take advantage of these, and we'll update again when we've got something else cool to talk about. Thank you. Bye.